Women in the 21st century have access to almost all the opportunities that men have. Their voices are being heard by the whole world. However, it was not the same in the past, when women were treated as second-class citizens. Throughout history, women have fought for their rights, often in the face of significant adversity. One of the most critical tools in the fight for gender equality has been the press. From the early suffrage movement to the current Me Too movement, women have relied on the press and now also the social media to amplify their voices and promote their cause. In this video, we have tried to explain how women's rights got promoted through the press and how it continues to play a vital role in the fight for gender equality. The early suffrage movement in the late 19th and early 20th century relied heavily on the press to promote its message. Leaders such as Susan B. Anthony and Elizabeth Cady Stanton used the press to raise awareness of the injustice of denying women the right to vote. They wrote articles, gave interviews, and published pamphlets to spread their message. The suffrage movement's use of the press helped to increase public awareness and support for the cause. The movement's visibility in the press helped to create pressure on the politicians to support women's right to vote. In the 1960s and 1970s, the second wave of feminism emerged, and the press played a critical role in promoting its message. Women's magazines such as Miss Magazine, which was founded by Gloria Steinem and Dorothy Pitman Hughes, provided a platform for women to discuss issues such as equal pay, reproductive rights, and workplace discrimination. The magazine's articles and editorials helped to raise public awareness of these issues and promote a more significant conversation about gender equality. Similarly, newspapers such as the New York Times and the Washington Post began to employ women as journalists and editors, giving them a voice in the media. In the 1990s and early 2000s, the third wave of feminism emerged, and women began to use the internet as a tool for promoting their message. Blogs, social media, and online news outlets provided a platform for women to share their stories and promote their causes. Websites such as Feminizing, Jezebel, and Bustle helped to create a community of women who would support each other and promote their message. The internet also helped to raise awareness of issues such as street harassment, reproductive rights, and gender-based violence. In India, one of the earliest and most prominent women's rights publications was Stree Dharma, founded by Pandita Ramabai in 1882. The publication aimed to challenge patriarchal norms and promote women's education and empowerment. Through its pages, Ramabai highlighted issues such as child marriage, widow remarriage, and women's suffrage, among others. Other influential publications that emerged in the early 20th century included Bharti, founded by the feminist writer and activist Tarabhai Shinde in 1882, and Bengali, which was established by the social reformer Ishwar Chandra Vidyasagar in 1872. These publications, among others, played a critical role in creating a discourse around women's rights and promoting gender equality in India. During the struggle for Indian independence, the press continued to be an important tool for women's rights activists. One such example is the role played by the newspaper Sudharak, founded by Mahatma Jyotirao Phule in 1881. The publication became an important platform for women's voices, and many women wrote for the paper on issues such as dowry and women's education. The press also played a critical role in the passage of key legislations related to women's rights in India. In 1929, the Child Marriage Restraint Act was passed, thanks in part to the advocacy efforts of women's rights activists and their supporters in the press. Similarly, the Hindu Widow Remarriage Act, which allowed widows to remarry, was passed in 1856 following a sustained campaign by reformers and the press. The press and media has also played a critical role in promoting the Me Too movement all around the world, which began in 2017. The movement started with a tweet by actress Alyssa Milano, who asked women to share their stories of sexual harassment and assault using the hashtag #MeToo. The movement quickly spread across social media, and women around the world began to share their stories. The press played a critical role in amplifying these stories, with news outlets such as the New York Times and the Washington Post publishing articles that helped to raise public awareness of the issue. The press has been instrumental in promoting women's rights throughout history, but it has not always been a positive force. In the early suffrage movement, many newspapers were hostile to the cause and portrayed suffragettes as unfeminine and unattractive. Similarly, in the second wave of feminism, some newspapers dismissed the movement as radical and unnecessary. In the Me Too movement, some media outlets have been accused of downplaying the issue and protecting powerful men accused of sexual harassment and assault. Despite these challenges, the press remains a critical tool for promoting women's rights. The press helps to raise public awareness of issues and create pressure on the politicians and other decision makers to support gender equality. It also provides a platform for women to share their stories and promote their causes, creating a sense of community and solidarity. The press has been a powerful force in promoting women's rights, and it will continue to play a vital role in the fight for gender equality. This was all for this video. Thank you for watching.